All right. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Doug Show Live. It's the first one for 2025. It's January 2nd, Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about side hustles, I guess. We'll see where the conversation goes. We'll get the chat going. Let me know where you're from, if you could hear me okay. I think you probably can hear me okay. That's been very consistent recently. And I'll talk about some of the side hustles that we've been talking about a little bit more. Long-time followers of this channel know that for many years, we talked about SEO and niche sites and affiliate marketing. And of recent, we've been talking about how that is not a viable business model anymore. And we're going to explore some other options. Some of the options include email newsletters, which are not a new thing, but a lot of folks have been focusing specifically for local newsletters. And I've done a few interviews. The thing is, this time of year, even today, people's consumption patterns change very much. Sometimes they have more free time because they're off from work or whatever around Christmas, holidays, New Year. Sometimes they're taking time off. So they're able to watch more stuff or consume more stuff, listen to more podcasts, whatever. Other people, they're out of their normal routine. Perhaps you commute a long way and normally you can listen to 3 podcasts a day. And because you're not commuting, you get way behind. So I had these really awesome episodes come out. And it was during the New Year timeframe and holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, everything. So we end up with a little bit of a lull. So anyway, I'm probably going to talk about those a little bit. I'm probably going to promote those more. And I even had an idea to sort of summarize some of the main points, which I may actually do a little bit today. You know, live streams are great to get some ideas out. I just talk through it. And y'all could ask questions. I see Sandro. What's up, Sandro? Good to hear from you, buddy. And Paul as well. Amazing. Good to see you guys. Yeah, we're still doing live streams. It's funny. I did an interview just before this with some podcast, Pingy, right? They have a few shows out there. They do graphic design. I got a free little ad here for me just talking about it. But basically, I was like, yeah, when I got started, I did live streams because I didn't have to edit them, because editing takes a long time. I don't dislike it, but it just takes a long time to do. Take that back. I've been doing more editing using Descript, which is a fantastic tool for certain things. But if you're just trying to edit video, it is a little bit buggy and it's slow and it's not that great of a video editor, but it's very good at transcripts and AI and sort of a different medium to play with. But overall, as a video editor, it kind of sucks. I mean, it just barely gets by and it is not intuitive at all, at least for me. Okay. So like I said, we will talk some side hustle stuff. And one thing I did in preparation, like many of us, like you Google something around side hustles or affiliate marketing or how to start a YouTube channel or whatever. And like, that was a jumping off point, like how to retire early, whatever. So I actually Googled some stuff and we're going to go check it out. So I Googled stuff and then I have another tab with YouTube searches. And it's kind of interesting because me as a content creator on YouTube and or a blogger, podcaster, like many of us were talking about this stuff that we have talked about for like a decade, and we were experts in those areas, but now we're scrambling just like everyone else. And it's like, oh, the SEO techniques that we were using before don't work. People don't use searches in the same way, or at least if they try to, they end up with some kind of bullshit nonsense in the SERPs, which I'll show you in a second, which is at best is like a bastardization of like the actual information. So people go to other places. Not me, but a lot of people go to TikTok. A lot of people go to YouTube as like a primary search. Some people love Reddit. I usually don't like Reddit, but occasionally, like, it is the right source for certain information. But the point being, there's a bit of confusion about where to spend time and what side hustles might work. And I had a great email question from a guy named Jack, and he was like, so it seems like the niche sites and the content sites aren't really a good choice anymore. Do you agree with that, Doug? And I do agree with that. And he was like, if it is not a viable option anymore, then like, what kind of stuff should we work on? And there's options out there, but the thing is, like, I don't know. Like, it is a different landscape out there. So the experts, people with plenty of years of experience in SEO and content marketing and content sites, affiliate marketing, where you get most of your traffic from Google, or even Pinterest. Like, it's sort of shifted. I never played much with Pinterest in a successful way, but like, if you knew stuff about Google SEO, surely you can transfer some of the skills elsewhere. But the fact is, like, we're not experts anymore because we don't know what might or might not work. And it's going to be an interesting time because the deck is shuffled, right? The deck is shuffled and it leveled the playing field. So there will be, people like me who I'm probably not going to start a new project on anything in the near term or in the long term or anything like that. I haven't started anything new in a while just because I don't need to. So I'm chilling a little bit. And I think what's going to emerge is like different business models or different techniques that probably they were just transferred from some other industry into an industry where that hasn't been done before. Nothing novel there. That happens all the time where people take the direct marketing techniques from the 70s and 80s, and then they applied it to email marketing. And it turns out that it worked really well. You have to do some migration type activities for the techniques and maybe the medium, but largely it can work really well. So I think there will probably be something like that going on. And there's tons of opportunity. The thing is, I emailed Jack back to make sure that rhymes. And basically, there are so many opportunities out there, but there's not a blueprint. The framework isn't defined. There's people out there testing and trying and probably like are very successful. And at some point, probably they will scale it up to a point where they understand some amount of risk that they've run into, or a lot of times when things scale, they break at certain points. And it could be like the size of the team. It could be the ads don't work anymore when the audience is expanded out to a certain point and it costs too much to acquire a customer so that the math doesn't work anymore. And that potentially will drive them to share the thing that they were doing via online courses. And it doesn't mean that that's going to make it saturated. It just means it'll start growing and more people will be exposed to it. And we will hear those stories on channels like mine, on other entrepreneurship and online business channels. And really at this point, a lot of it does go back to when I try not to pay attention, but when I am looking and see emails that people are sending or other stuff, communities that I've separated from for no other reason other than I'm not as ambitious as I once was, nor do I have as much energy to do any sort of thing like that. But it's e-commerce related, or like, hey, we're going to make our own product of whatever. And that's probably like way more defensible, number one, but it does take more capital, right? There's no free rides out there and it takes more capital. It's harder to do, But if you have like physical products and people following you from, in this case, a lot of times social media is probably a good route to get those followers and to get support and let people know about the products that you have. That's going to be way more defensible, and people will actually like search for your brand name, which, it all comes first full circle, where even 5-6 years ago, people were like, you should build a real brand around your affiliate site. And sometimes, that worked, but we hear in the last year, in the last 6 months or so, even the big brands that were doing everything right, even recognized by Google as doing it right, are now suffering. Their traffic has dropped dramatically, and it's a different world out there. Okay, if we have questions out there, let me know. David's on too. What's up, David? Yeah, so all the usual suspects, appreciate y'all hopping on. If you have any questions or thoughts or observations, let's do that. And a bit of a clickbait title. We're going to talk about side hustles, but really, I don't know. That was a whole preamble about how I don't know. And I think there's going to be I think email newsletters are good. They have been good. It is a direct way to contact an audience. And if it's built around a locality, and we could cite the Winnipeg Digest, we could cite Catskill Crew. I interviewed the founders of those two very successful local newsletters in different regions, although I guess both of them are up north. But basically, they got up and running in under a year, and they've done a very good job monetizing and kind of doing things on their own terms. And the thing is, if you're in a city with roughly, say, 100,000 people or bigger, you probably have a large enough audience to make it work. And it could be like 50,000 as well. I think it depends on the specifics of your geography, but at least if you have, 50,000. Actually, I used to live in Bozeman, Montana, and that's about 50,000 people. And I'm certain you could have a lucrative business, around that. And check out those interviews, very insightful. They're about an hour each. So I would say that's probably one of the best opportunities, especially if you're looking at unfair advantage and quick startup. So you would have an unfair advantage if you live in the geography. The fact is, let's say I had $100,000 to invest in a business and I wanted to compete in Winnipeg. Well, number one, Jazz was a person that I interviewed. He has a pretty decent head start and he lives there. So it would be pretty tough for me, even if I had a very large budget, to compete with him. So if you build your brand in your own community, you have a huge unfair advantage. You can go and talk to the business owners around there. You can help maybe like co-host events and stuff like that. And I think with unfair advantage, like it's really up to you. And the other part is the low startup cost. So this could be the biggest tip here of the whole show. So I won't bury it too deep, but listen up. I just took it from Michael Kaufman. So Michael talked about when he first started I think it was Instagram, but he first started his Instagram profile. He just shared other people's stuff, other companies, other business owners in his area and promoted them and just like consistently did that. And because people were trying to promote their business and market and they're spending time on social media and there's so much noise out there, the fact that Michael shared their stuff got their attention immediately. Even with no followers, they were like, great, this dude's sharing our stuff. They would share that with their audience, which conceivably they're a little bit further ahead. Maybe they have hundreds or even thousands of followers, but consistently, obviously, a town with hundreds of or 100,000+ people, there's enough businesses where you could do that multiple times a day and slowly grow your following. Some of these shares are not going to work. It'll be a waste of time, but you never know which ones are going to pay off big. So if you do that consistently, you'll be able to start growing your following, even if you have no one following you at all. So it's the perfect way to just share other people's stuff. Hopefully they'll share your post or however you gave them a shout out, and then you slowly grow your following. And again, you can do this multiple times a day. There's thousands of businesses out there, and start getting a following. The key, he wanted to have a following because it's a visible way for the potential advertisers that he wants to work with. It's a public way where they can say, oh, Catskill Crew, is this a legit thing? Like, what is this? So they hop over and they look at his Instagram or they Google his site and they see, oh, he has like 8,000 followers. I don't know how many followers he has, but he has like a good number of followers. Like, this is a real thing. So they're automatically going to have some kind of, they're going to have social proof. And that's very important. Okay. Got some good questions over here. Let's get to that. All right. Paul says this. Any thoughts about hybrid side hustles that entail both a physical task and online marketing, such as actually creating a physical product and then promoting it through social? Yeah. So I think just in like as the like price of admission, if you were going to promote, create a physical product, you would most likely promote it through social. I mean, I think you probably have to at this point. I have done neither of those to be transparent, but I would say that's at least the price of admission. I mean, people are not going to care about you or your product unless it's helping them solve some problem, and you will have to promote it somewhere. Social is probably going to be the cheapest way to do it, and the eyes are out there. I mean, even if you were running ads, like social is probably the right way to do it. Feel free to ask for follow-up questions. Again, I never did physical products and specifically wasn't interested in it. All right. And Paul says, I think you would be great for starting your own newsletter about where you live for hiking and so forth. What do you think? Yeah. That would be an excellent thing to do. And, in talking to Michael, and I don't know if folks saw that interview, but please do check it out. It's very good. He shares tons of information. The thing that was apparent right away, just from like his office and the way his setup was, is he's an outdoorsman. All right. He's, out there in the woods. He's a fly fisherman. And I think we even talked about that before we started recording, but yeah, there were a couple things where I was like, oh, Michael's into this stuff. So I don't know specifically if like he does cover stuff like that, but I would say you could lean into whatever your interests are. So if you happen to love maybe like the farmer's market scene. So I live in the Denver metro area, and there's farmer's markets through, I guess, like spring to the late fall. There might be some that even run in the winter on a smaller scale or something. I don't know. I'm not super into them, but basically there are farmers markets that run. So you could have like a local newsletter that focuses a lot on the farmers markets and that kind of thing all through the region. And, just expanding on the idea from before, there are, let's say there's a dozen different farmers markets. There's probably a few hundred different people, vendors that show up. Now, some of them may overlap because a lot of times what happens with farmers markets is they have, one day it's in one part of the city, and then they move and they go like to whatever 4 different farmers markets throughout the region. So you could kind of focus on that stuff / hiking, biking, outdoor stuff, whatever. So if you had a specific interest, even though, I mean, some people are going to be in towns where there's multiple newsletters already running, you could have a specific focus on the stuff that you're into, like hiking or fly fishing or whatever. It could be food oriented, right? So it could be the farmers markets plus small farm to table restaurants or whatever, like however you want to do it, or beer related, right? It could be like breweries and places that have pizza, whatever you're into. So that's the thing, there's no rules on this. So if you're into it and or there's a bunch of businesses, like there's pizza and burger places all over the country. There's like lots of different competition. And the thing is, like, you could focus on the thing you want, which, I mean, it'd be, Paul, to your point, it would be funny if I was like, you know what, we're doing a newsletter on local breweries, pizza places, and burger places. Like, that's the focus. And it's just the places that I want to go and eat the food there and drink. That would be pretty fun. All right. John, what's up? Okay, and John asked some follow-up questions on a recent one. Good to see you, John, by the way. And let's see what he asked. Okay, wondering your take on Pinterest. Could that stand in for long-tail SEO from Google, or at least complement it? I think you could get complementary traffic from Pinterest. Again, an area where I spent maybe a little bit of time, but I was never very successful with Pinterest. And all right, you could view this two ways. I have been very good to focus on my strength areas and then ignore the other parts. So I looked at Pinterest, I tried it a little bit, and then I was like, I don't know the platform. I don't care that much, and I'm not going to waste time on it. It has been great for other people. And this is the hard part, John. And now I'm in a unique position, which I'll expand on later. If you all want to hear about it, let me know. But I'm in a unique position where I'm I'm detached. Many of you, but not all of you, many of you know that I retired and sunset my courses. So there's none out there anymore. And I am still on some newsletters of people that either used to sell courses or they still promote some. And when I know that like sites out there are not getting traffic from Google anymore, and some people are like, maybe Pinterest has worked a little bit, or thank goodness I have Pinterest going. Like, the incentives, which I clearly knew before, but it's much more apparent now. If someone sends out the email and they're like, oh yeah, like this is working great. By the way, my friend has a course in it and I'm an affiliate and I'm promoting it. So it's like, is it really working, or is it still just an affiliate promotion thing and it kind of works every now and then? So my experience level is 0. I don't know much about Pinterest. I do know some, like my friends, right? Like I know some of them are able to get traffic from Pinterest and earn money, and it does work. So, I mean, it can work, but I don't know how much time you have to put in. I don't know how long it takes or how viable it is in the long term. If people know out there, let me know. But yeah, the fact is, like, if people are saying, oh, this is pretty fantastic, and then they're promoting something on the back end of it, it could be 100% legit, or they could just be trying to sell. And again, I'm in an interesting spot because I'm not trying to sell anything. I rarely promote other people's stuff. I interviewed Michael, and Michael is the person that has the local email newsletter group, which he does charge for. it sounds, at least when I chatted with him, he's not thinking like, hey, I'm going to do a course. It's just a community. And it sounds like it's sort of community driven, where like people from the community actually teach some and share some things that are working. So it's far more community driven than him being sort of the center of it. He just happens to be the hub that was putting it together. And I think there's actually great value in having a curated community where people have money to be there. Like they paid money to be there. If they don't pay money, then it's like you get a bunch of freeloaders in there. So all that to say, I've been talking about this local newsletter stuff, and I am not an affiliate for Michael's stuff. I actually sent him an email today and I was like, hey, do you have an affiliate program for this? I don't I don't care. It's not like a deal breaker or anything. Like I've promoted it for a couple weeks already because he was on the show. But I was like, if he has an affiliate program, I'm not going to not sign up for it. So anyway, I'm in this unique position where I'm not promoting anything specific. And actually, I just reminded myself I probably need to check my autoresponder in the email sequence there to see what's going on, because there could be some early emails where I'm like, here's some options that you could look at. Okay. Good question, John. And I unfortunately probably didn't do a great job answering it. Okay. Josh is here. What's going on? And so is Kent. What's going on, Kent? Good to see you. All right. Feel free to ask more questions. Josh says this: physical products suck as you have to have them in stock and then handle returns. Yep. So that is, I mean, there's no free rides out there, folks. And that's one of the other things. If it's profitable and it works well, it's probably going to be a little bit hard. And I've been listening to a lot of Morgan Housel podcast and read his 2 books. And one of the things that he mentioned in some show and or both books, the businesses where you can accelerate quickly and get like earn money fast. Number one, you may not appreciate the money as much, and you're maybe more likely to spend it quickly because it was easy come. But if you're able to accelerate quickly and earn a lot of money, there's a good chance you could probably like lose that income source just as fast. And it's not always true, but if you just think about it, it also means that other people can do it very quickly and probably displace you. So I know a few months ago, I didn't follow up with this because I was like, this is a flash in the pan and I'm not interested in that sort of content. But someone said, oh yeah, this person is making like $40K a month on TikTok, and they just started like 45 days ago. And I believe it's true. And I trust the person that told me about it. But I mean, that's just a flash in the pan. That's not going to stick around. There's no way. And if the person thought that it was going to stick around, you probably wouldn't go fucking telling everybody about it, because other people are going to do it, and then it becomes saturated and the competition changes the whole landscape. But overall, like if it's easy come, easy go, like that sort of fast success is not going to be, it's not going to be a long-term thing. And Happy New Year to Kent. Paul says, handcrafted stuff as far as the physical products that you enjoy making yourself. And that's the thing. It's like, if it's stuff that you're working on, then I can see that. Now, let's give a quick shout out to Linkify. They've been running a campaign for me, and it's digital PR. So they got some killer links for me over at Ahrefs. Pretty cool. They do run those campaigns, and you can save 10% with the discount code Doug. Now, let's hop over and see what kind of side hustles online Google tells us about. So this is also an exploration of the results page these days. And let me get myself up here in the top corner, since we have the camera here. Boom. I think that works. There I am. Great. Not that you need to see me. Okay. So side hustles online. Of course, let's take a quick look at the SERPs here. So we have the AI overview, and then we have Reddit is showcased here. So is Shopify and NerdWallet. All right, so we'll just take a look. Some popular online side hustles. So we have freelance writing is the top one here. We got graphic design, virtual assistant, online tutoring, social media management, affiliate marketing, blogging. That's ironic. Selling digital products. And they do have a little link here. So if we wanted to investigate a little further, we could click that. So let's see what happens when we click that. We click it. Oh, and then it tells us from where it came, or I don't actually know what it's doing. It just kind of makes this editable over here on the right panel. Doesn't really matter. Okay, online surveys, product testing, transcription, web development. And the funny thing is, a lot of this actually sounds like it is not as relevant anymore just because AI can do what it can do. Key points, so your skills, market demand. So, I mean, this is really just like a bullet point summary. And of course, generative AI is experimental, so no one be fooled. All right, so online side hustle, and it looks like interesting. So they have this other little panel, and they list a bunch of them. So side hustle online, kind of funny. Some of these are indeed online. Digital marketing, starting a podcast, YouTube, but some of them are clearly not. So a rideshare driver, can I do that online? I don't think so. Renting out a spare room, not really online if you have someone in your spare room. Lawn care, not online. Reselling, that's kind of a blend. Like you could resell vintage goods kind of online if you wanted to via eBay or maybe even Facebook Marketplace, but you have to get the stuff from somewhere. You could just be, buying stuff online and then selling it. Okay, so that counts. Affiliate marketer, drop shipping, merchandise, artisan products. That's what you're talking about, Paul. So I would say there's a few options. Now let's take a look at, let's see what the Shopify blog post is. So 30 profitable side hustles to earn extra money. And let's see what we have here. So to boost your income in 2025, okay. And let's look on this page. So popular side hustles for digital creators, marketing and commerce, creative and artistic home-based flexible side hustles. Okay. So they go kind of into a wide range. Oh, and it looks like they have a YouTube video here. So I wonder, they probably created the blog post in conjunction. So let's go through these. Monetize a YouTube channel, start a blog or newsletter, record a podcast, surveys, test apps, secure social media sponsorships, blah, 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 blah. So, advise eco-friendly businesses. So it's sort of a general list. I would say that it's so weird. I mean, I don't know what I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously, folks, here. But, I mean, this is kind of like what you imagine a list would be if you went to AI. And it's like we're in a weird situation here, right? So it's like I could look at this and maybe get some ideas. This kind of blog post has been around for a while. And it would not be surprising if a lot of this was like done via an AI tool. And now we're in a weird recursive thing where we're like referencing material that referenced other material, but we're using AI, and it's real weird, real weird. Deliver groceries and other items. So they did stick to just like general, like not necessarily online. So it can be online and offline. So that does get you more stuff. I think if you had, side note to some of the stuff we were talking about, like if you had marketing skills, if you had some know-how from an SEO standpoint, let's say they didn't list it here, I don't think, but it's kind of related. Offer pet sitting and dog walking services. So let's say you want to pick up dog poop. Let's say that's your passion. You could probably do a decent job and earn decent money doing that. And if it's your passion, you're going to be doing it anyway, right? Oh, David's here. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah. So anyway, you could probably like use your digital marketing skills to probably do a little bit better SEO than the average person for like a local thing. Like if you were going to wash and detail cars or mow lawns and do landscaping and stuff like that, there's a chance, because you've been doing SEO for a little while, that you would do a little bit of a better job on the SEO side than the average person who is like looking it up for the first time. I know I haven't tried anything, but I feel confident if I was doing something relatively specific for my area, just my county, for example, like I would probably be one of the better SEOs / business owners to provide that service. I would probably do a better job than most of the other people. And the thing is, like, even if, let's say you had a lawn care business and you knew a little bit about SEO, but like you actually weren't doing it yourself and you hired a marketing agency, like the markup is dramatic. So chances are, if I did that sort of SEO work myself, instead of charging, whatever, like essentially a sort of link building type campaign, a PR type campaign, I could do it for a very, very, very small fraction of that cost of what a comparable like SEO agency would do. So, and if I'm just using my time, then it would be a very small amount of time versus like, if you hire an SEO agency and there's like an account manager and a project manager, and then another person that actually does the work, and maybe they're doing it from the Philippines or something, or South America, there's huge discrepancy for like the cost versus like, it would take me a few minutes to write some blog post or whatever, post the thing that I need to get some links from, versus like hiring an agency that has to pay account manager, project manager, and the actual SEO person to do the work. Huge discrepancy. Okay. So we got some stuff from Spotify or Shopify, but nothing where I'm thinking, oh wow, this is like a whole new thing. This is just like all the same stuff that we've seen over and over again and over and over again, right? And another similar search, which could be just a waste of time, how to make money online. Again, I'm trying to, what did we search for back when we first started? Maybe stuff like this. And then once we found something that we connected with, or we heard other people talk about, we thought, hey, we'll look a little bit deeper into that. And this seems kind of dumb. Well, the search to make money online is like freelance work. It's like, fuck, be more specific. But they're saying go to Upwork or Fiverr or wherever, and you could do freelance writing, programming, design, marketing, data entry, or virtual. I mean, it's like, everything under the sun, basically. So we have selling art, affiliate marketing, and, one that I haven't mentioned, which is closely related to the affiliate marketing. And, I see how they're doing it now. So if you click the little link here, it will narrow it down to the link that has the reference point. So if we go here, and it actually sends you down. So who wrote this? Engage in affiliate marketing? Who the fuck talks like that? affiliate marketing involves, I will read this paragraph. Affiliate marketing involves promoting others' products and earning a commission for each sale made through your referral link. The key to success in this field is understanding how to effectively drive traffic to your promotional content. Successful affiliate marketers often utilize blogs, websites, or social media platforms to reach a broader audience and increase conversions. By providing valuable content or reviews, they build trust with potential customers, which can significantly boost sales. To find affiliate options, take a look at online affiliate programs such as Amazon Associates and the Wix affiliate program. So, I mean, it's true stuff in there, but not very, it's very sterile, I would say. Very sterile. Interesting. So there's no real information, but you would go deeper, right? So you would keep looking, and this link here sends us to a blog post. What is affiliate marketing and how to get started in 2025? And it was, published May 8th, 2024, and they obviously have some sort of a year update wildcard thing. So it just looks like it's written 2025, even though obviously it is not. Okay, so they get a little bit deeper here into it with strategies, and that guy looks really happy there, so that's good. All right, the other place we might look is over here on YouTube, which I would say, depending on what I'm searching for, like YouTube is probably where I'm going to search most of the time. Generally, I am not like this. These sort of results don't help me so much. We also have a couple sponsored things, and then it goes to Reddit. And I think like many of us at this point, I don't love Google results. And as a matter of, supporting them or using another search engine, I know YouTube is Google, but not using the search engine, it's a good thing overall. And they actually have video results in here. So when we pop over here, though, we do see 10 best side hustles to start in 2025, published 11 days ago. And one thing I'm noticing here, and I'm not sure why, let me widen my screen, see if it's related to that. Nope. So 144,000 views on this video here. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. Let's see how many subscribers Nietzsche has here. So it's 1.4 million. So really not a huge number of views for the number of subscribers that she has. And I don't know if it's still as relevant, but I know, one thing that is interesting is if you find a video that has a lot more views than the number of subscribers, like that video has done well outside of the normal audience, or they ran ads. So those are the two main things. And we got William Lee here, which this was published like a year ago. And I was like, oh, how many subscribers does he have? So 88,000 and 1.3 million views. But my hunch, I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, he ran ads. Again, just speculating. And I'm not 100% sure if it's very easy to figure that out. But if I had to guess, he's done ads to this. But it's beyond the scope of what we're covering. Okay, so 7 side hustles for beginners. Tim Richard, 60,000. And I ran across, I think I was searching for something like this, and I ran across his video before. So this is another one. So he has 60,000 subs, but he has 900,000 views on this. My guess is he's running ads to that also. Just because it's such an outlier. I could be totally wrong, though. If anyone has insight on this, let me know. All right. And then we got Mark. So the weird thing, this Mark Tilbury. So here's what I was looking for. So there's a little check mark here of verified. It's funny. Mark showed up here going after the older crowd. He's an older gentleman here. And so he has a little check mark. Oh, he has 4.2 million. Wow. So I don't know, like they should have it at she has 1 million subscribers, so she should have the little check mark too, I would think. And same with William, 88,000. Do you have to have 100K? Is that right? Maybe you have to have 100K, but still I would expect with 1 million, the lady at the beginning. All right. Yeah. Lunch to Wealth TV. Anyway. So here's the other thing. I was like, yeah, a lot of people would search on YouTube. The thing that's really weird about the YouTube results is, again, since I'm somewhat detached now, this other, like the thumbnails and stuff, like $1,000 per day, scam-free side hustle for women. So it's like, if they have to put scam free in there, I'm like, fucking scam, right? I don't know this person. It could be totally fine. But my guard's up, right? It's like the how to make money online industry is just weird. And then this other one here with the $500 a day, how to start now, all this stuff, lazy side hustles. And it's just like, okay, really? Mission side hustles. So five side hustles for people that aren't lazy. All right, let's see what this guy has going on. So that's 98,000 subs, turning 500 into 1 million. All right, I like the hard work. The hard work thing. He's like against the grain for people who aren't lazy. Kind of funny because we got lazy side hustles and then people that aren't lazy. But anyway, my overall point is, while for many things I would search on YouTube, like this whole area is it's so saturated with like things that, like when I looked at other stuff, when I've tried to do research before, just like what's going on now, there's like a lot of stuff with AI too. Like it's a hot thing and it's tough to navigate. And I try to, I'm doing the live streams and people ask great questions like John and Paul, and I don't have the experience in specific areas. And then the stories that I do hear, I'm very skeptical. And I think all of us should be pretty skeptical when someone has like a clear incentive to like do something. Jumping back to mentioning Michael Kaufman before in his newsletter group, the way he tells the story, which I'm 90% sure is in the interview that I did with him. It's really like his friends were learning about what he was doing, and they said, you have to talk about this. This is like pretty cool, and you can help a lot of people out. Like you should do a course. And he was like, I'm working on the newsletter. I don't want to do a course, but maybe a community could work. So anyway. Oh, and Kent says this, I think the word lazy is kind of funny. If you're making money online, you're not lazy. But yeah, physical labor, side hustles, not for me. Yeah. Overall, yeah, not for me either. It would depend on what, but yeah, generally probably not. As I'm getting older and less motivated to do stuff, and whatever, you pull your back, not from helping someone move and lifting something, but from moving the blanket too quickly when you're asleep, that kind of stuff, then yeah, I'm like, I'm not loading a truck. Are you crazy? Kent says hauling away junk is a growth industry. I can guarantee we paid a guy $500 to haul off a truckload of stuff. Not kidding. Yes. And we got a mattress not too long ago. And so we had to get rid of the other one. And I was like, it's actually in decent shape. So I was like, I'll try to I'll see if I can sell it. Yeah, no takers. And in fact, I paid someone $60 to haul it away, which was relatively cheap. So, and I was like, this is, I mean, there's a landfill and there's other ways to like, get rid of mattresses and stuff. And it would have cost about the same. I think it was like, I could dump it for $40, but I would have to drive like 20 miles. And I have a truck. I could have done it, but $60 was cheaper than me spending an hour and a half doing something, driving, and then paying like $45. I was like, someone will pick it up, take it out of the room and like go away for $60. Yeah, I'll do that. And yeah, I mean, yard work, different. I mean, that's what I grew up doing. Like I cut grass basically. All right. So I hope everyone came with low expectations for what we're going to learn today. I think, so I may do an episode on this, but I'll put it in here. Y'all may hear it later. I know many of you listen to the podcast and watch the videos when they do come out, so I appreciate it. I have an ask for you though. So if you have any show ideas or other questions, or maybe you heard a podcast and you were like, the topic was this, send the link to me, send it to feedback@Doug.Show. And I'm looking for show ideas. But I think one thing that I would look at if I was like, let's say you gave me an assignment and I was going to put in, say 10 hours per week on a side hustle, I would probably do this. Hold on, I got a cough. Okay, I wasn't totally honest with you. It was more of a burp, all right? But nevertheless, you want to do that off camera. Not everybody's into it. So let's say you give me an assignment, 10 hours per week, and I was going to work on it for the full year. Because I have heard very good things about the local newsletter and brand model, I would most likely do exactly that. I would most likely create two main sort of like growth type things. One being a YouTube channel and the other being Instagram. I would, as much as possible, create content that was usable in both places. I would focus on highlighting local businesses, just like I explained that Michael shared. With 0 following, you could actually start promoting other companies sharing their content. And with, armed with just a phone, or if you had, I actually have vlogging setups, so I could actually like sit down and chat with people at their coffee shop and say, hey, what is this coffee shop about? You have some other products here, like what should people expect, blah, 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 and like feature the different, coffee shops and stuff around town, or pizzerias or burger places or breweries or whatever thing I wanted. And I would have some discoverability over on the YouTube side, some discoverability over on Instagram as well, and just primarily focus on sharing other people's stuff. In conjunction, I would also have the newsletter. I would most likely host it over on Beehive, as that seems to be the one that most of the local newsletter folks really like. I've dabbled around with it, but ultimately I have not migrated over there. And I would work on that. I would work on one email per week. To Paul's point earlier, I think you're spot on. I would make it all the stuff I'm interested in. So potentially I would experiment with some things that aren't my particular interest. But the fact is, if there are businesses that have been running for years, again, pizza, burgers, and beer. Like around here, those are everywhere. Like they're successful. They're all over the whole Front Range area. So I could just focus on those, and there would be several dozen to feature and talk about. And I could also throw in some of the outdoor stuff, because it also, people that go and do long hikes or spend a lot of time outdoors, or they're cycling, after they finish, they often go grab a beer and a pizza or go hang out afterwards. I literally did that like a couple times last week. So I would just follow along with that and see where it morphed. The key is to be flexible and adapt if you need to. And then I would probably just follow along with what Jazz and Michael have mentioned as far as the advertising and the people that they want to try and work with. And the big thing that, Jazz mentioned, and it became pretty apparent after talking to Michael, Jazz has a lot of skills with like growing an audience on Instagram. So he has like a big following there, and it was instant credibility whenever he reached out to a brand or a company in town, because they could see he has a bunch of followers and good engagement overall. So if you pressed me and you were like, you have to start some business and you got to work on it, that's exactly what I would do. And again, you have like an unfair advantage if you're in your own town. You could focus on like the video portion of it. You could focus more on the writing part and just have like still frames, or a combo of the two. I mean, for me, I'm into both mediums, so I think that would be the best way to go, and just see where it goes. I mean, the other thing is I talked to Brooks Conkle, and he did like the silent disco thing. He first rented the equipment, and then he realized, well, it's pretty fun, and I could buy the equipment and then run these myself instead of having to rent it. And I think he rented it, and he had to get a bunch of stuff, a lot of all the headphones like shipped to him. So he bought all the stuff and he could run them himself now, which at the end of the day, like that boosts the profits by a dramatic amount. He has, of course, some break-even point, but you could run your own business on the back end of your newsletter, which is what most of the people mention. I think they're early on. They haven't done it yet, but I mean, if you were a real estate agent, go ahead and start your own newsletter, and then you have like a built-in group of people that trust you because I hear from you every week. So that's it for today. I'll schedule another one of these. I believe next week should be good to go on the Tuesday. And while I fell off the wagon towards the end of the year, a lot of travel, a lot of time out of the office, needed some breaks, blah, blah, blah. I got a million excuses, but should be back on track to do live streams, usually on Tuesdays, most of the time, unless I'm out of town. And technically, I could do stuff when I'm out of town, but I often don't do that. So if you are not on the newsletter, I think there's a link in the description and you can sign up. Although I was checking the website, it looked like the form was goofed up for some reason. So anyway, everybody have a good rest of the day, weekend, and we'll catch y'all later. I see Mohammed just popped in, but we are heading out, so I encourage you to watch the replay. All right, thanks a lot. And if you have show ideas, questions, or comments, shoot me an email.